What's up, everybody? This is Marshall Couture of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and welcome to the first ever episode of Morning Warm-Ups, Sketch Sessions, I guess is what I'm calling it. And today we do have a topic. We won't always necessarily have a topic with these, but sometimes they'll just be kind of off the cuff. Even this will be a little bit, but today we're going to talk about building new habits. And, reason being, obviously, because, that's what I'm doing right here, live in front of you, trying to build a new habit of sketching early in the morning every day. So right now I am setting up uh, the video stream on my computer so that I can see if there are any like comments and stuff as I go. And sometimes I forget exactly where to go. But basically here it is. Basically what this building new habits thing is I want to, start sketching in the morning, whether I record it or not. I want to start, getting some work done in my sketchbook, or even working on my projects if I have to. But I mostly want to work in my sketchbook. The working on my own projects will be, if I have the time to. Let's see, make sure, okay, yeah, everything's going live here so I can see it. And I got the chat going, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be on here for, let's see, I have to get to work, so somewhere around a half an hour, more or less. It's about the time I have. So right now I'm working on the comic, my submission for the anthology. Let's see. I guess I should. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this, because what this is actually going to be is it's going to be kind of an exclusive for Patreon. And I'm going to do the first few episodes more or less here on YouTube live, I guess. I don't know if I'll always do these live. Sometimes I'll just record them and upload them. But, eventually this is going to be an exclusive only on Patreon for my backers. So if you want to continue to see some of this stuff, if this seems interesting to you, go over there, and just for a small amount a month, you can kind of see into the thoughts of my morning sketches, I guess, if that seems interesting to you. Let's see, get my reference, because right now I am working on the comic called The Hitchhiker, which is my submission to the 100s anthology. And so I have some, let's see, I have some crazy scenes, sort of, where I will be, like, that will take place in like a sci-fi kind of like pawn shop, I guess, slash flea market slash thrift store type of thing. And that means I have to draw like this kind of, it's gonna be like a messy one too, so there's gonna be tons of objects. I don't know why I did this to myself, but it's just gonna be crazy. There's gonna be so much stuff in there, and hopefully I can get away with like a couple establishing shots, and then kind of, not have a lot of the other panels not have too much crazy detail. And right now I am like, there's like, I looked up pictures of like messy, flea markets and things like that, so I can kind of get an idea of, some of the ways that I could possibly execute this, and just different objects. And then what I'll do, hopefully, I can't go crazy with designing objects, but hopefully I'll be able to make some of these objects, look like they come from some weird planet or whatever, as opposed to like, just ordinary Earth objects. But some, it is on a planet, so like it's possible that some of these could kind of resemble, even Earth stuff. So, it is what it is. We'll see how that all works. Right now I'm just sketching with a regular, ballpoint pen. Hopefully you guys can see it. And I find that sketching with a ballpoint pen is a great way to not be too precious. Like, I'm not trying to make a beautiful drawing right now. I am literally just trying to practice, and that's what these sessions a lot of times will be like. It'll be me learning, taking time to work on, the fundamentals and things like that, and just talking about my observations on learning the fundamentals, learning all kinds of different things. I have a subscription to svslearn.com, which is it's the website where Jake Parker and Will Terrell and some others, they have like a school or whatever, like an online school, and it's only about $15 a month, and they have tons of classes in there. A lot of them I've already watched, but there's definitely some I still haven't gotten to. But I don't care. Even if I watch them all, I still will most likely stay subscribed or whatever, because there's, just because I watched them all doesn't mean, I learned everything, in those things. And I need to practice a lot of that stuff to the point where I start to master or gain some mastery over, some of the fundamentals. And there's just a lot of good stuff that, I've never heard of before. It's stuff that they don't actually teach you in art schools, which I've gone and taken a lot of art classes. Like, my high school was a really, sorry, there's some weird noises outside, I think. I don't know if that's my stomach or but I've taken, my high school had a lot of like it had a good art department, is what I'm trying to say. And so I got a lot of good stuff from there. And I've also taken some college classes as well. So I know I have a pretty good idea of what, art schools teach. Plus, I've heard a lot of people talk about the horror stories of art schools and things like that. And so I have a pretty good idea of, stuff they teach. And like I said, this SVS Learn, these are like, experienced illustrators, people who who work in illustration. I think that is my stomach. That's funny. Like, I'm hearing sounds that sound like crying. And it might be my stomach. I'm going to drink some of this coffee and maybe that'll alleviate that. Weird. What a weird way to start this series. I mean, my stomach does feel hungry, and it's weird because I don't usually feel hungry in the morning like this, but maybe it's because I got up a little bit earlier. But yeah, like I said, these are like experienced illustrators who are in the industry now, working in illustration, and they just teach some techniques that I've never really heard, surprisingly. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I have heard that they teach, but there's definitely some interesting techniques that have been helped. And you know, I've talked to other people who have taken their classes, and I've been told that, you know, these are things that they've heard, but these are people who are more experienced than me who are taking these classes. So, you know, it depends on your level, I guess. But I don't know. I think they have a lot to offer, and it's definitely worth checking out. You can stop at any time, you know. So if you want to just check it out for a month or two, you know, it's certainly worth checking out, I think. And if it's not for you, then, you know, you could cancel. I don't have a sponsorship for them or anything. I'm just talking about something I really like, and that has been very helpful for me. This show is not necessarily about that, though, but it is about practicing and learning the fundamentals and things. So that's, you know, why I'm getting into all this. It wasn't actually I wasn't actually planning on talking about this, but that's all right. What I was planning on talking about was building habits, and you know, the reason why I'm kind of thinking about, you know, this whole thing on building habits is there's one of my favorite YouTube artists. He's somewhat new, actually. I mean, he's been around for a little while, but I've just kind of come across him, and you know, he is somewhat new. But he's done video editing for Jake Parker. I don't know how much he's done. I'm pretty sure he edited the Finished Not Perfect video, which is like, I guess, probably the most famous one that Jake Parker's done. And you know, I don't remember how I first got to know, but this guy named Kesh Art, check him out. I'll put a link in the description. And he's also got a second channel that he just started called Draw with Kesh, I think. I'll put both of those links in the description. But, you know, he's a really cool artist, very imaginative. He does a lot of, like, illustration and stuff, and, you know, original ideas, like, I don't know, just like really cool art. I don't know. You have to check him out, see what he does. And he's also, I guess he's a film student, I think. So he's really, like, his videos, especially the ones on his main channel, are really well edited, and they're almost like little, I don't know, I say like music videos, but they're not, you know, it's not music. But you know, it's filmed like that with like kind of quick cuts, and you know, he talks about different subjects, and it's always really interesting, really helpful. And but he started this second channel where he talks about where he doesn't do any edits. You know, he wanted a channel where he can kind of put less, you know, where he could just kind of do kind of like what I'm doing right now, and just draw and talk about stuff, you know, and you know, talk about techniques and stuff that he uses, and it's kind of more of a daily type of thing. So what's up, Luke Rushton Artist? How you doing, man? Thanks for popping in. yeah, again, in the chat, I'm going to be checking it as I go. So if you have any questions or thoughts or whatever, feel free to add them in. So, he's got some cool things. Like I said, the second video, it's more off the cuff. And he's done 3 videos so far on there. But I guess they're more daily, so who knows? By the time you check it out, there might be more. And I just really like him, really like his stuff. He's got a lot of cool insights. And what he talked about yesterday was habit stacking. So that's why I'm talking about building new habits today, because he talked about, kind of making sketching in your sketchbook one of the first things you do in the day, like that, or that's one of the habits he's created. And I was like, you know what? I've done it before. Sometimes with good success, sometimes not so much. Let me try it again. I really want to not only work on the projects that I'm working on, but get some time in my sketchbook, more time in my sketchbook. So, the only, and the thing is like I said, I've done this before. There was one time I tried to do this just for myself, and I wasn't like, doing any kind of video or anything, and I found that I couldn't make myself get up, which is pretty bad. It's pretty horrible. I probably, should be able to do that, but it's hard to get up in the morning. And but then there was another time that I did do it pretty well, when I used to do a lot of live streams through Meerkat, when that was like a thing, and Periscope was like really big back then. It was like a year ago. I think it was like last year. And that was like something I just thought was fun to kind of, I didn't have a lot of time to do, live streams, so I figured getting up in the morning was the best way to do it. And I found myself a little more able to do that, to get up and sketch when I had like somebody to talk to, I guess. And I don't know. I really like the medium of video, and so for some reason that helps motivate me, when otherwise, if I was just doing it for myself, I might kind of put things off. So, and today, maybe probably because it's the first time, I have plenty of energy, but there were times where I was like too tired to even think. So I want to do this every day, get some sketching in early. But one thing for me, it's going to be a little bit different and difficult, is I don't I'm probably drawing off, you probably don't even see what I'm drawing. Let me draw stuff that's more in here. You know, my schedule is weird, like on any given day I might have to go into work early, and I do go into work early a lot. So on those days I either won't be able to do it, or I'm thinking about maybe, on those days I'll make it a point that I have to sketch during lunchtime, if I can't get to it, in the morning. So, that I won't necessarily always make a video either, but, I do want to get, a few videos in a week, and this will be mostly for my patrons. I may put random ones out on YouTube, I'm not sure, here or there, like very random, but I do want this to be exclusively mostly for patrons. Like I said, the first few are going to be on, YouTube and live for everybody, but within, 3, maybe 4, whatever, more or less, I'm gonna bring it straight over to Patreon. So again, if you want to check that out, it's I think if you type in Donkey Jaw Projects, there'll be a link. There's not a link right now in the live thing, but after the fact there will be links to these things. So yeah, I'm trying to form the habit. This way I can get some sketch work done in the morning, and I'll feel like more accomplished, you know, right in the beginning of the day before I go to my, you know, normal boring day job. um, which no, I'm feel grateful to have, you know, a job and stuff, but it's not, you know, the type of thing that I would love to do for the rest of my life. I'm hoping, you know, to make it change and get into some kind of art career at some point, whether it's YouTube or whatever. So I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot about that. I always talk about that. So yeah, want to build this new habit. Like I said, Kesh was talking about habit stacking, which is a cool, you know, concept. So what I'll do is I'll link to his video as well on that, and you guys can check that out. You might very well have already heard of the, you know, term habit stacking. I have actually before I watched this video, but you know, it kind of was a good reminder to go ahead and do it, and it just came at the right time where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this because you know, I've been wanting to get into doing more work in my sketchbook and really practicing the fundamentals, because I'm making a comic, and when you make comics, you realize how much work you need to do, how much you know, how much you don't know, basically. um, so yeah, let's see. So another thing too, another kind of, it's like it was a succession of different videos that kind of led me up to wanting to do this as well. Kevin Cross, who started the 100 Days of Making Comics, which is the comic anthology I'm working on right now, was, you know, based off of people who have done the 100 Days of Comics challenge. And so now we're working on an anthology, which will be kind of completed somewhere in April, like the middle of April, and we'll be working on putting the book together, and then we'll be running a Kickstarter and stuff. You know, coming somewhat soon, within the next few months, most likely. And we'll be printing it up, and so a lot of people who have done the Kickstarter challenge will all have a book together, and that'll be really cool, and it's like a celebration of kind of what Kevin started with the 100 Days of Making Comics. And you know, so we love being part of that, and we wanted to kind of celebrate it and kind of do a little bit of a homage, I guess, to the work that you know, Kevin has done, and how he's inspired us, you know, to get work done on our comics. If you don't know what that challenge is, it's a challenge where you work 100 days for a half an hour each day on your comic project. You can do it with any kind of project, but you know, a lot of, you know, this has kind of been birthed in the comic community, this version of it. So you know, we do comics a lot. So yeah, so you work for 100 days for a half an hour at least every day on your comic project. Again, Kevin Cross started it so he could work on his comic, Monkey Mod, and he's done it 4 times. I've done it 2.5 times. So yeah, that's what that is. And so yeah, right now, like I said, I'm working on and this is kind of what this, you know, show will probably be more like, is, you know, stream of conscious, and I'll be talking about what I'm working on at the moment, what I'm learning. So right now I'm working on, like I said, kind of how I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna build these scenes where I'm in like a messy either marketplace, but also like the main scene is like in this kind of flea market, thrift store, pawn shop type of situation, and you know, I gotta draw a lot of crazy stuff, and so I want to kind of learn how to put messy objects together in a way that looks interesting. And to be honest, this is not in any way, shape, or form This is not my strong suit. I am the type of person who likes to be kind of quick and dirty, get things done quickly, and if it starts taking too much time, I might get a little discouraged. And this is definitely, like, I don't put a lot of detail a lot of times into my drawings. I'm not great at backgrounds. I mean, sometimes I'll get into like realism and stuff. I enjoy, like, drawing a portrait of somebody and trying to get into the realism of it. That's fun and it's good practice. But aside from that, I have a hard time, getting into detail, but I really love super detailed pieces, and I want to build up the patience to do detailed pieces, and I want to be able to execute detailed pieces. I'm not saying that, that's going to be a big, something I do all the time with my style, but I want to have the ability to do it when I want to do it, and when I, especially in storytelling, it's just an aspect that will come in handy and will be useful for certain scenes. Um, so so that's kind of what I'm practicing now, obviously, and I don't know. I think one part of it is, you know, putting on a good, audio book or some good podcasts, and or like we do these like private hangouts sometimes with artists and stuff. I have friends who, sometimes we'll do these private hangouts actually on a pretty regular basis, almost every day sometimes. And doing those kind of things, you can kind of almost zone out and not think about what you're doing. And I find those are good times to get kind of meticulous art out, or the stuff you don't want to sit and do and focus on. You just want to kind of sit there, talk about some topics while you're sketching, and miraculously by the time you're done talking, you've made some good progress. um, so I don't know, that's the only way I know how to do it so far. But and doing these live things will probably be some ways I can kind of do it, and it really depends on how much you have to think about stuff and whatnot. So it's not always something you can do, I guess, if it's something that requires a little more thought and you need to spend time, like, I don't know, designing or looking up reference, or I don't know. But right now, this is just loose sketching to kind of get the vibe. I mean, trying to kind of get what, yeah, the feeling, I guess, of what it would be like to do stuff on such a, with a lot of objects, I guess. Oh, and I meant to say, I don't know if I actually said it. I was talking about Kevin, and the reason why I brought him up is because he did a video recently about 10 tips for people who are doing the hundreds. And one of his tips was to do the comic art, kind of right when you get up in the morning, or like early in the morning, before, you know, before you like get into your day, basically, so that, the busyness of the day doesn't kind of take over and cause you to kind of not be able to do it later in the day. And then later in the day, if you work on your comic, then that's just like, bonus points. But make sure you get it in early, and then you kind of feel accomplished the rest of the day, that you've actually done something and been productive with your own personal project, and you don't have that kind of hanging over your head all day. So I think that's a cool thing, and I've definitely experienced that from time to time, not very often, because it's not, it's something you kind of have to remind yourself a lot of times to do, because it's easy to just get swallowed up by the things you have to do, in a day. So So yeah, that's why I brought that up. The other thing I was gonna say was like drawing all these objects. There's another video. A lot of my inspiration comes from YouTube videos that I watch and just tutorials and just chats and all kinds of things. As you may have noticed at this point. But there's another video which I'm really interested in taking up this challenge. But it's I guess Will Terrell. He did this video called 50 Draw 50 Things, and it's part of the SVS Learn courses and stuff, and it's something that he's taught his students to do. Because he teaches in like, I don't know exactly where. I think he teaches college students in art, for art sometimes, and or it might just be personal classes. I'm not exactly sure, but is it Will Terrell or Will Terry? Maybe it's. I always get these guys mixed up because they have similar names. I'm trying to like find out now on the SVS website. But he has this challenge that he put out to draw 50 things and have one focal point. That's not what I'm doing right now, but he had some good tips on doing something like that, and it's a great way to learn some good illustration principles, and it's a good way to create. Will Terry, that's what his name is. Okay. So it's a good way to kind of build certain skills with illustration, and so I do want to do that challenge at some point. I'm thinking of even making like one or two of these panels or something. My submission from this comic, my submission to that. And so, anyways, if you want to learn more about that, I will put a link again in the description. And speaking about putting links and stuff, that's what I'm going to do in a moment, because I have to finish this up, actually. It's about time to go to work, so I gotta get going. I really appreciate anybody who's watching this, and again, thank you for watching this, and if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, sometimes they'll be more focused, sometimes they'll be, more just kind of talking about my thoughts about making art and stuff like that. This time I really wanted to just kind of establish it and maybe talk a little bit about building habits and stuff. So hopefully you found something helpful from this. Like I said, I'll be doing these for my patrons. So if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, feel free to jump over there. All the links will be in the description, and yeah, I guess that's about it. This is Marshall Couture of Donkey Jaw Projects, signing off. Thanks for watching.